All right, lesson 1.2 is all about order of operations and evaluating expressions. We're going to split this into 2 days, so by the end of today you should be able to use the order of operations, which hopefully you remember from last year. First example says you've won. For a door prize, you get to choose between the two options shown. Which is the better prize and why? If you get $60 immediately, or if you get $1 on the first day, then each day for the next 5 days you get twice the previous day's amount. Okay, $60 would be your total for prize 1. If I do prize 2, I'm going to have 6 days. First day would be $1. Then the next 5 days would be twice the amount of the previous day, which means if I had $1 on day 1, I'm going to have $2 on day 2, $4 on day 3, $8 on day 4, $16 on day 5, and $32 on day 6. So if I add all of those amounts up, if $48 just with these two, plus another 8 is $56, plus 4, there's $60 right there. So I'm actually getting $3 more if I choose prize number 2. Okay, at the top of your notes, you should have these 4 vocabulary words. Power is the base and exponent. This whole thing, this 2 to the 3rd right here. That whole thing is called the power. The exponent, which is actually the 3, just tells you how many times that this number 2 or this base is being multiplied. So that means there are 3 of the 2's. The base is this big number, and that's the one that you multiply repeatedly. And then simplify is to replace a single numerical value to write in simplest form, to replace with. Okay, so instead of having 2 to the 3rd or 2 times 2 times 2, our final answer in simplest form will just be 8. Feel free to pause this if you need more time to write in your definitions. Okay, some of these aren't going to show up, so I'll write it in for you. It says, what is the simplified expression of 10 to the 7th power? Okay, this little exponent here tells us that we need 7 of the base. So I need 7 10s to be all multiplied together. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, some of you may remember when you're doing exponents with 10, whatever the exponent is tells you how many zeros. So I have a 1 with 7 zeros. And then I always start at the back and count in 3 zeros and put my commas. So that's my final answer, my simplified expression. What is the simplified expression of 4 to the 3rd power? This means I need to multiply the number 4 3 times. 4 times 4 times 4. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. What is the simplified expression of 2/3 to the 3rd power? Okay, this exponent on the outside actually needs to get shared with both the top and the bottom of this fraction. So that's like having 2 to the 3rd power on top, 3 to the 3rd power on the bottom. Okay, so on top I have 2 times 2 times 2. On the bottom I have 3 times 3 times 3. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8, so on the top I have an 8. 3 times 3 is 9, times another 3 is 27. So my simplified answer is 8 over 27. Last but not least for this type of problem is, what is the simplified expression of 3/10 to the 2nd power? That means I need 0.3 times 0.3. If you remember anything about multiplying decimals, I get to at first pretend that they're not there. So 3 times 3 gives me 9. But then I have to remember that there was 1 decimal place here and 1 decimal place here. So I need 2 decimal places. So I start at the back and move 1, 2 places, put my decimal and add in a 0, and my final answer is 0.09 or 9/100ths. Okay, next they're going to give us longer problems that have a requirement of using the order of operations. All problems actually require use of order of operations, and hopefully you can remember what these were from 7th grade, but I have this here to show you just in case you forget. The P in PEMDAS stands for parentheses, which really is any grouping symbols. Okay, we talked about some of those yesterday. Those could be parentheses. They could be the square brackets. They could be the cool wiggly brackets. Any kind of grouping symbols go here first. E stands for exponents, so any powers, like we just covered in the last couple slides, or square roots. MD is for multiplication and division, whichever one comes first from left to right. And then AS is for addition and subtraction, also whatever comes first from left to right. We're now going to use that order of operations that we just talked about to solve these two problems. I'm going to write PEMDAS up at the top so we have it as a reference. Okay, and I'm going to use that to look at this first problem here. First, I'm going to look to see if there's any parentheses. Okay, I can see that right here we have the 6 minus 2 inside parentheses. I'm going to keep the parentheses, but just simplify what's inside. So we'll now say 4 to the third power divided by 2. After parentheses would be exponents, which is our 4 to the third power. And 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And then I'm left with 64 divided by 2, which is 32. For these problems, you need to show every step of your work, and it should kind of end up looking like an upside-down triangle or a piece of pizza. Okay, our next question. We always want to do what's on top and then divide by what's on, or do what's on top, do what's on the bottom, and then divide them when you get a fraction like this. So I don't have anything in parentheses or grouping symbols, but I do have these exponents. 2 to the 4th power, 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8, times another 2 is 16, minus 1 over 5. Okay, then I want to finish the top with my 16 minus 1. I'm left with 15 over 5, which gives me a final answer of 3. Okay, and then these 4 problems, if you would like, it would be great if you could pause it right here and then come back and just check out what I have for answers. All right, and that's all that I need you to work on for today. If you have any questions, please contact me. Your homework for tonight is the 1.2 worksheet, and you will only be able to do numbers 1 through 10 and 18 through 22. If you also want to look at lesson quiz 1.2, you should be able to do numbers 1 and 2.